Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be making Order 66 in LEGO, but I'm going to be doing it in micro scale. I'm going to make 3 of the biggest battles, which will include the Battle of Utapau, the Battle of Kashyyyk, and the attack on the Jedi Temple. Because these are going to be in micro scale, I think I will be able to make the battles look a lot bigger than they would be in minifig scale. Enough talking and let's get started. The first battle that I built was the Battle of Utapau, and I think it's a pretty significant part of the movie considering it has a pretty iconic scene where Commander Cody gets word from Palpatine to execute Order 66. To make this build look a lot bigger than it is, I added a layer of black plate to the base instead of more terrain to make this build look like it stretches down farther than it does, because this build takes place in some sort of ravine. I was very limited to dark down slopes because I do not have many of them, so I decided to use a snot technique to build the sides going outwards. Unfortunately, I did not have enough dark tan bricks to cover up the sides, so you should just look at it from the front. To cover up the top of the build, I displaced some plates and tiles as well as a few more slopes. I also added some cheese slopes to make everything look a bit more natural. I made a few micro builds that were a bit difficult to make, but eventually I settled on a design for the gunship that I saw Coconut Brick Studios use, and the Vulture droids only required 2 pieces, so they were pretty easy to make. I also made a small landing platform that leads into the underground city. In the end, I'm pretty happy with how this build came out, but I wish I made it a bit bigger so I could add more details like more landing platforms and some bigger caves for there to be more room to add studs, which I used to represent minifigures. At the bottom you can see the 2 Vulture droids trying to escape the gunship that is hot on their tail, which I just held up with a few clear pieces. In the center of this build there is a cave where the battle is happening, with a landing platform for different spacecraft to land, but as you can see there's no spaceship or ATTE there because I needed more room for the raging battle that is happening. To the right of the build I added a small arcade with new gunray fleeing the battle while being accompanied by a 212 clone. This build was okay, but hopefully I can top it with my next build. Kashyyyk is one of my all-time favorite planets because I just think that the Wookiee species is really cool, and the fact that they live up in tree bases makes them even cooler. In my opinion, that is. To start this build off, I added some water in the front, as well as some tan plates to represent the sand, and in the back, I put some dark green plates for the grass. I didn't want everything to be flat, so I built a mountain in the corner as well as one of the Wookiee tree bases on the other corner. For these mini builds, I thought I had a lot of fun designing them because I had a bit of experience from my last mock. I made 2 Wookiee catamarans, 3 of the Separatist snail tanks, and 1 turbo tank that I'm pretty happy with. One more thing I added was the wooden platforms that rise up out of the water. I'm really not sure what those things are used for, so if you know, please leave a comment. I think that this build turned out a lot better than the last, and I think that there's a lot more going on. In the front, you can see the snail tanks coming out of the water and onto the beach, and opposite of them is the turbo tank. I think that the scale of this mock is pretty accurate, but then again, the wheels of the turbo tank are the same size as the Wookiees. The catamarans were simple to make, being constructed out of only 4 pieces. In the back, you can see the mountains as well as the tree that Yoda is looking down at the battle from. I used various colors of studs to represent the Wookiees, clones, and droids that you see in this massive battle. This is Future Henry while editing this video, and I forgot to add any clones to the battle, so that was a silly mistake. I definitely had to include the attack on the Jedi Temple, because it is when you see the end of the Jedi Order, and when you see how far Anakin has gone to the dark side. I built the walls using 10 bricks, and I made a bridge stretching across either side of the build like you see in the movie. Then I added 2 doorways on both sides of the bridge and tiled the bridge off. I finished building the walls and then added 4 burgundy tiles to represent banners draping down. Then I finished tiling off the bottom. This time I decided to use blue studs for the 501st Legion instead of white because I thought it looked better. I wish I could have given the Jedi lightsabers, but I would not know where to start. This definitely ended up being my most simple build out of the 3, so there's not much to talk about. I'm not exactly sure what color the floor is, but I decided on making a pattern because I didn't have the parts to make the floor all dark tan because they were being used in my Utapau mod. On the bridge you can see Anakin Skywalker taking out the Jedi with the 501st. And he is being represented with a dark brown stud. There's not a lot going on here except for the slaughtering of Jedi, but I still think this build came out pretty well. I'm really surprised with how good these 3 builds came out, especially because this was my first time building in microscale. I think that all 3 of these builds represented the tragedy that was Order 66, so we'll have to do another microscale build challenge sometime in the future. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.